knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances to him again and again. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Sarasvati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschacha Deshatarne. Dear Srila Prabhupada, thank you so much for coming to America and revealing Krishna to us. Thank you for creating this movement, because without this movement, I wouldn't be here with all of these wonderful Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis. Please be with us in this class and help us to speak something relevant and uplifting so that we may all continue our journey in spiritual life. Hare Krishna. So, the title is Bhakti is Deep, Not Cheap. And sometimes, because this world is so very fast-paced now, it's really, really, in the last 50, 60 years, since even around the time Prabhupada came, things were a little bit more slow. But in the last 50, 60 years, they have really, I would say in the last 60 years, really, things have sped up. When I was in college, there were computers, but they took up probably half this room. And no one had their own computer. Those were like business computers. And there were no such thing as cell phones or even portable phones. You were like, you must have been a billionaire to have like a car phone or something like that. So there weren't these things which connected us worldwide and just sped up things. And in the very beginning, there was dial-up internet. So you dial, then you had to wait, and then you had to wait, and then you had to wait. And now, if it takes more than 2 seconds for some information to come on when you do a Google search, you're like, what's wrong? What's taking so long? And so we're almost becoming addicted to things happening really fast, really fast. And of course, sometimes fast is slower. When we move too fast, sometimes we make mistakes in haste, we make waste. Sometimes when we move too fast, we may produce some external result and bump into the people around us and rub relationships the wrong way. And sometimes when things are very fast, I need that. It's a prop. Sorry. Sometimes when we come to Krishna consciousness, also, we have a desire for rapid advancement. And in fact, a lot of times when we ask for blessings and mercy, we think we can just touch somebody's feet and automatically we're going to be infused with Krishna consciousness and bless me, bless me, bless me. But when we ask for blessings, a lot of times, what we're asking for is health, wealth, health, wealth, no problems. Everything should just come fast and nice and easy. It's a sign of the times. And it's part of the illusory energy, that thinking that we're getting more faster, building bigger highways, and now we can get there faster, but then more people are buying cars, so then it's slower, and then we got to build another highway, and then it's really an illusory thing that just just out of reach. You just got to work a little faster and a little harder, and you're going to get there. And even sometimes when we come to Krishna consciousness, I myself, you know, thought if I just pushed hard enough and worked hard enough, the results would be automatic. And sometimes it uses those words in some of our scriptures or in the purports, when you chant Hare Krishna, automatically the good qualities will come. We've heard this. And we tend to think automatic means like without any, automatically may mean with a lot of effort on my part or with no effort on my part. And it's not either of those. It's actually, it's by being grounded in reality and being conscious and attentive and noticing and praying and asking Krishna, what do you want me to do next? Now, we don't usually operate like that in this world. In this world, we get a problem and we fix it and we make something better. When we become devotees, we chant. Maybe we chant more. Maybe we go and we do more and more service. And we think more means better. And so sometimes we pile a lot of work and rituals and impositions upon ourselves. And we think the more we do, the better we are. Now, I thought this for 30 years. And I'm finally understanding that sometimes, oftentimes, less is more. So I have this little wonderful doll, and she's going to illustrate something for us here. So the class title is The Places We're Blind to, Hare Krishna, the places that we don't see. And sometimes we don't see those places because we don't want to see those places. So here is this wonderful devotee. She's got her tilak and her bead bag, thanks to Harshit Prabhu. And she's doing everything right. And this is the us that we want everybody, every devotee, to see and believe and know that I am this. I'm doing it all right. I'm doing all the right things. I'm a good devotee. I used to think I was a good devotee. After 30 years of pushing myself, doing whatever I was told by my authorities, going to the morning programs, chanting all my rounds, unhealthily detaching from my kids, thinking I was renounced. And after almost 30 years, Krishna kind of shattered that illusion I had of myself and started to show me what was underneath the shell. So here's the good devotee. And here is the kind of producing persona that we come to Krishna consciousness with. Most of us come when we're usually at least 20, maybe 18, but somewhere around there we come when we're semi-adults at least, or maybe full adults. And we've developed a persona that is, it produces results. We've learned how to get a career or graduate with a certain degree. We have a certain amount of intelligence. We have certain assets. We may be able to work hard. And we may be taking care of kids in a nice way, but we've got certain talents. And this is the part of us that looks good. It looks good, and we like people to see that we look good. This is the devotee look good, and this is the regular look good. Now, this is the person that maybe the general public knows us to be. Our acquaintances know us to be. Now, underneath, this one is the part of us that maybe our family, our siblings, and our friends know. They've known us for a longer time, so they have some experience of us, and they know, yeah, you're not exactly that. I remember the time you did that, and you did that, and you've got a few issues with this, and you tend to be late, and so, that's the part of us that those people know. Then there's a part of us that maybe we know, and maybe one of our really close friends or one other person know. But we don't want anybody else to know that. That's pretty hidden. Then, oh my gosh, there's the part of us that even we don't know. We don't know these parts. They're parts of us from our unconscious. They're parts of us from our childhood that maybe got wired up when we were really young. And we do certain things, and we don't quite know why we do these things. And we look at our parents and we see them doing it, and we think, well, maybe I got it from them. But we're not really quite clear on what it is we do or why we do it. But we're a bit more, this is unconscious. We don't really know. Then there's the part of us, oh my gosh, that, how many more parts are there? 6. So then there's a part that that is even more unconscious, maybe parts from our last life, our samskaras that are there, and they might be affecting us, but we might do a past life regression, we might have somebody tell us about our past lives, but we don't really know about that. It's unlimited here. And then there's the part of us that, this is like, I think I missed a part in here or something, but there's a part of us that's just covered by the material energy. Just, as we come to the material world, I think that's this part. I think I missed a part. But anyway, other parts that are unconscious. And then we're covered by the material energy. When we first come, Lord Brahma covers us with certain coverings. And then there's the soul. The little soul inside. And we're kind of looking to be authentic and real. And we know we're not this body, but it's not really this physical body that trips us up. Because the physical body's pretty cool the way Krishna designed it. It remembers to breathe. The heart is beating without us thinking about it. Digests food. It tells us when we're thirsty, and then we can drink something. It tells us when we have to go to the washroom. It tells us when there's something going on. Maybe we have a pain. This body doesn't lie to us. It doesn't know how to lie to us because it doesn't have any hidden agenda. It doesn't have any agenda at all. It's just trying to keep us alive and have us survive. Now, these subtle aspects of us, except for the soul, these subtle aspects of us remain hidden, and partially they remain hidden because we tend to think we're some of these parts. We tend to identify with these parts. Now, it is important for us as a soul coming to this material world because we inherently have an identity. We are part and parcel of Krishna, and we have a unique identity. Because we have an identity, when we come to this world, and we don't know what our real identity is, we're kind of looking for an identity. Who am I? We're looking for that. And most of our life is identity crisis after identity crisis after identity crisis, because we don't know who we really are. And then we think we know who we are, and then it changes, or life changes. So as a soul, we come to this material realm, and immediately Lord Brahma created the material energy, which covers us with a layer. It says it in Srimad Bhagavatam, I forget the verse, that we're covered with a layer of self-deception, right? Fear of death. And a kind of a part that we don't hasn't been named, but fear of death is kind of shame. You know, we left Krishna. The soul kind of remembers that there's another place that was much better than this place. There's another place where things felt a little different than this place. And for some reason, I'm not there. And so there's a little bit of shame when we come to this material world. That's exemplified in the Bible, the story of Adam and Eve. And they ate from the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And then they realized they were naked and they became ashamed. So shame, starts out just from the generalized material energy. We can't be a fully realized pure soul in this world. So we're covered by the material energy. So then, when we're a little child, we're trying to figure out our place in this world. We're little, and the other people around us are big, and maybe they yell at us, and maybe they shame us, or scold us, or tell us what the right way to do things is and the wrong way to do things. And we're trying to get a sense of it. We're trying to feel our way into the family, but it really is kind of overwhelming and confusing. And when we do something and people get upset with us, we think, well, they must know what they're doing. They're bigger. I must be the stupid one. I must not be good enough. I must be bad. Something's wrong with me because I don't understand life the way they understand it. So that's the first kind of persona we develop. It's a cracked persona. Like, I'm not good enough. I'm just not good enough. And indeed, we're not good enough to be Krishna, and we may have illusions of being Krishna, but we're not good enough to be Krishna. But that doesn't feel very good, even though and this is all done unconsciously. We're not really conscious of this. So that doesn't feel very good, and I don't like the fact that maybe I'm not good enough, because I want to be good, and I want to be liked, and I want to be loved, and I want to be accepted, and I want to belong. So we adapt ourselves and compensate for that, and we cover ourselves with the layer of preventing and protecting ourselves. Okay, then when they say that, I know this is going to happen, so I got to go here, and maybe I need to hide behind the couch, and I got to do good things so that people will appreciate and accept me. And we start maybe being a good little girl or a good boy and kind of trying to follow some rules. And then that's okay for a while. That identity works for a while. We survive. But then we go to school. School's kind of fun at first. We're playing and it's kind of easy. But then it starts to get more homework, a little bit more intense. And, we compare ourselves to other people. Why are they getting to do that? And why can they do that subject and I can't? And, maybe they're smarter than me, or, I must be blah, blah, blah. And then we kind of determine and we start comparing ourselves to other people. This is the comparing persona. And when we start comparing, we start to despair. Comparing causes despairing. Oh my gosh, now I gotta up the ante, I gotta be better. Okay, then I gotta be better turns into now the proving persona. Look what I can do. I can play mridanga, or I can lead kirtan, or look at me, I got all straight A's in math, or I can debate. I've memorized the first chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, or maybe 10 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita. Look at me, I'm proving now that I'm good. That feels a little better. We do get attached to this kind of a persona. We like to think we're this, but the sad, cracked ones often come through when we make a mistake. So these are all layers of shame because the proving has to cover the shame. So it's the other side of the coin of the shame. Then we become around 18-ish, something like that. And we go to a hostel, college, university. Maybe we go to another country. Maybe we get married. Or maybe we start a career. But we got to start to get it together here. Now we're kind of like, okay, you've been practicing. Now you got to start being an adult here. You've heard all the things we've been telling you. You got to grow up. Now you really got to do it. And so in this place, we feel kind of confronted because now we got to make choices for ourselves and live with the consequences of those choices. And that's a little scary. So we are a little confronted, but then we have to expand ourselves again and grow. And then in order to deal with the confronted persona, we start learning how to produce results in the world. We produce results in the world and, we get good at certain things. There's nothing wrong with that. And then we come to devotional service. And on top of all of this, we put our good, rule-following, looking good devotee. This weighs quite a lot. How much do you think this weighs, Harshik? Kg? Half kg? A half kg. Yeah, it's pretty heavy. And we're carrying all this weight on our poor soul, which is suffocating inside. So sometimes we think more is better, right? More, better, faster, when actually more can slow us down. It can suffocate us, and it doesn't necessarily make life very simple. So all of these layers are our attempts to fix what we think is broken. We're a little soul, and we've come to this world, and the material energy gives us some self-deception, and we think there's something wrong, and I need to fix it. And all of these layers are attempts to fix what we think is broken. But I'm here to tell you today, actually, there's nothing broken. We're not broken, and the material world's not broken. The material world is here, designed in such a way to teach us how to simplify and get back to the truth of who we are deep inside. So, what we want to do, how do we even start this process? We want to start to recognize the voices of these different parts that tell us things that maybe make us feel good. You're such a good devotee. Look how much service you're doing. Oh my gosh, look how much you collected. What a good girl you are. You get up every morning, you chant your round, you are so good. Why do I have to tell myself that? Because actually, inside, I don't feel very good. So I have to pep talk myself. Yeah, these are all attempts to fix something we think is broken. But they're actually more layers of unconsciousness which simply deny the fact that we are part and parcel of Krishna. We are whole and complete. And really, there's nothing to do to fix that. And we really need to become conscious of the layers that cover us. So these layers may tell us stories like, oh my gosh, I don't want to fail. I can't fail. I don't want to be a failure. A repetitive voice of the confronted one. Or, I'm better. Right? The proving, I'm better. And the comparing, I'm worse. Right? All those stories that we tell ourselves, I'm better, I'm worse, I'm better. And then the preventing manager, I'm safe, I know how to survive. And then the little cracked one that says, I'm not good enough, something's wrong with me, I'm not acceptable. And then the covering of the material energy, which doesn't say anything. It just says, be afraid of death. You're going to die. The fear of death, Lord Brahma creates in the beginning. So all these layers are fear. These are all layers of fear of death. They're layers of fear of death. And when we can start to recognize the voices that are whispering to us inside and what they're telling us, the lies they're whispering in our ears. You need to be better, they're better, she's better, they don't like you, all these comparing, judging, analyzing, fixing voices that actually complicate the issue. Now, when we think of a child, what are some qualities of a child?
Innocence.
Innocence. Beautiful. Innocence.
Living in present.
I'm sorry?
Living in present.
Living in the present. Exactly, living in the present.
Enthusiastic.
Enthusiastic.
Curious.
Curious. Did you listen to any of my classes?
He's curious, that's why.
Very cool. Curious. Innocent. Curious.
Carefree.
Carefree.
Simple.
I was just going to say that. Good. Simple. Yeah. They're simple.
No fear, always feel protected.
No fear. Yeah, when they're maybe really little and they are protected. Some kids have fear because they're not protected. But yeah, they do have a sense that they're infallible sometimes when they're little. And part of the reason is because kids don't really land in their physical body until they're around 7-ish or 8-ish, something like that. They're in their soul body. they're like spirit, and they have so much energy. They don't want to sleep. They don't want to eat. They want to get up first thing in the morning. They jump up. They want to play. And you're like, oh, could you go back to sleep? They have so much energy. Even when they're tired, they will not, I'm not tired. Because they're more in their soul body. And then they start getting covered over more and more. Yeah, you want to say something?
They tend to be honest as well.
Exactly. Very good. They don't know. Huh?
They're not pretentious.
I'm sorry?
They are innocent.
They are innocent,
they
but
don't judge others.
they don't judge others. They don't even really know how to judge. They don't even know the difference between boys and girls for a while. They're just like people. And they don't, what did you say again? Honest. Yeah, but they don't even know how to lie. It's like, no, I didn't take that. I mean, they don't really know how to do those things. They haven't become complicated. They're simple. And all of our fixing and trying to make things better tends to complicate the issue. Now, sometimes we think, this is a perfect devotee, right? This is what I want to be, a perfect devotee. I would like to say that probably this little simple, tiny, innocent part of us is more pure, innocent, simple, unassuming, doesn't know how to judge, doesn't even know how to judge colors of skin. They don't even know anything about prejudice until they go to school and they realize, oh, we do have a difference. And then people tell them what that difference means, even though it doesn't mean anything. So I think this is really where we want to go. We want to start peeling the layers to get to this place, rather than putting on more layers to get to this place. Now that doesn't mean we don't chant, but those external things don't necessarily get us to this unless we unpeel some of the layers. Okay. Any thoughts or questions about all of that? That's kind of a big... Please.
We did in last session that our real identity is to be servant of servants.
Mm-hmm.
So like Chaitanya Charitamrita, and everywhere we read it, we are supposed to be the servant of servants.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we, where does that...
Mm-hmm. Great question. Great question. So, do little kids like to serve? Sometimes, yeah, they want to give you food. Here, they share with you. Sometimes they see you sweeping and they want to do that too. They want to help you sweep. It's more inherent in the natural state. However, an unnatural version of that is to deny all of this and even deny this and kind of compress being the servant of the servant into self-denigration, self-negation, self-neglect. And we think selfless means self-neglect. However, if this is the part of us that Krishna made, if this is us and Krishna made this part, and we're a part of Krishna, if we neglect or denigrate or deny or even despise, because we might despise some of these on top of that, if we despise ourselves, that's one part of Krishna we're not loving. That's one part of Krishna we're not serving. That's one part of Krishna we're not caring for. And it is the part that we've been given responsibility over to kind of take care of and pay attention to and be conscious of what am I thinking, being conscious, being attentive, what am I doing, what's working, what's not working. It's kind of, I think that's why we're here, to uplift our own consciousness. When we get to our deathbed, Krishna's not going to ask us, oh, what did you do out here? He's going to say, where's your consciousness? And if your consciousness is, oh, darn it, and why, and I should have, and why didn't I, and if it's distracted by regrets and anger and fear, that's what we take with us in our next life. So, being the servant of the servant doesn't just happen out here. It happens as we reveal, as we remove the layers. That feels good. Feels a little lighter, not so hot. As we lighten up and create a sustainable system where we energize ourselves and take care of ourselves in a balanced way, that we can then joyfully serve, not because we should or have to, or because it looks good, or because somebody tells us to, but because we want to, because it's fun and joyful. And that's a different mood of serving than serving because I should. And more important than what we do externally is what is our consciousness when we're serving. Oh, I should. He's doing more. I should be doing more. I'm not. What is our consciousness? And are we so worried or judging ourselves or shaming ourselves? Or are we just serving simply and joyfully? So we are responsible for our consciousness, and our consciousness is affected by all these layers. Does that make sense? You had a question? Yes? Did you have a question? No. Okay. Please.
As you said that it all starts with that covering the shame.
These are all layers of shame, but yeah, it starts with Lord Brahma creating self-deception. We have to deceive ourselves that we're this. And that deception takes fear of death, and we think all of these are us. So if we remove these layers, we feel like we're dying. And in fact, it is kind of a preparation for death, because letting go of these layers is dying to what we aren't. It's learning to let go, because when we die, we can't take really all of this with us. Well, we certainly can't take all of this with us.
So does that mean that all throughout our journey, we are trying to cover up that shame, and that adds on
It creates more shame.
shame?
It's more shame. All of this is shame. Because if we didn't believe we were shameful, we wouldn't have to try to fix it. It's a lot of shame. A lot of shame we carry all over the place. And we don't talk about it very much. I tend to talk about it a lot, because I think when we discover how and when we shame ourselves, and we refrain from shaming ourselves, we start feeling a little bit better and a little happier and a little more enthused. Prabhupada didn't shame us. He encouraged us. How can we encourage ourselves? And when we encourage ourselves, knowing we have all these parts, we respect and encourage ourselves, struggling in the midst of all of this material energy, we can so much more easier encourage others and not put others down and not try to be better, because we know that everybody is a soul inside a human machinery, and that is really a lot to deal with. Does that make sense? Yeah. If we can start to remove the layers of shame, life becomes simple.
And And the more we have these layers, and someone tries to, hit that, so that's where we get irritated.
Exactly, because we think this is us, right? You hurt me. How dare you do that? But actually, the soul cannot be cut, cannot be burned, cannot be hurt, cannot die. It's eternal. But if anybody hurts any of these parts, oh my gosh, look out. We talk about we're not this body. It's not this body that gets us in trouble. It's these bodies. However, when we can start dealing with them, and when we feel some hurt, we're like, okay, you're hurting. Okay, well, what are you making that mean? What is that? Why did that hurt you? Well, because I believe that, this. And then we can start looking at our beliefs. And when we can shift our beliefs, because these are all beliefs, and they're misinformed beliefs. They're beliefs influenced by the material energy. So if we can start to look at what we believe, what we've come to believe that's not really the truth, we can start dissipating the lies. And the more we dissipate the lies, the more we're in truth. And the more we're in truth, the more free we feel. The truth will set us free. And it might be a little disconcerting at first because, well wait a minute. I mean, because we're identifying with these parts. And we do need some kind of an identity in order to function in this world. However, if we can use the identity or the strength of the identity rather than identify with it, then we're more managing it. The soul is managing it rather than this covering and controlling it, controlling the soul. Does that make sense? Yeah. This part here needs to be the manager, the witness. Just like Krishna is the witness in our heart. When the soul starts to witness, oh, well, what are you telling yourself? Well, is that true? Do you really want to believe that? Well, it seems like it's true. Generally, our beliefs seem like they're true because when we're really little, we start to believe something, a lot of times from our past life, and then we gather evidence to prove it. We say, see, look, see, life isn't fair. See, look, that's not fair, and that's not fair, and that's not fair. And we never we totally dismiss and ignore something that happens which doesn't line up with our belief. It's called confirmation bias. So we're biased, and we start just remembering all the things that line up with our belief. I believed I was unlovable. And I couldn't really remember the good times I had with my mother. I remember when she didn't love. I remember when she yelled at me, when it seemed like she was too busy for me, when she was reading her magazine and I was asking her to listen to me. I remember those specific things. It has taken me something to remember the good times I had with my mother because I gathered so much of that other evidence. And that didn't make me have a very nice relationship with my mother for a while. Yeah, until she was in her 80s and we totally worked all that out. I don't know, it's kind of a heavy topic, but there's one. Go ahead.
So, we have all these layers, and the last layer, which basically gives us a lot of identification in terms of a devotee.
And a community too.
And in community too, and at the same time, when we start realizing that this is not giving me the kind of happiness I'm looking for, we try to numerically increase all that thing which we are anyways doing.
Exactly.
And then we start feeling that now I'm becoming better devotee.
Exactly.
Because this was missing part.
Yes, more and better and better.
So how, and then this is how we have been trained throughout that, chanting.
Chant more. Just chant more.
Good chanting
Yes,
it
chant
should be more
better.
chanting.
Yes.
Yeah. So and then if we are chanting, we are asking for services, and then we get into more services.
Exactly, and then we get stressed out.
Yeah. So, so instead of internally the changes which should be coming as a devotee, external changes become a lot more than what inside we should be feeling more surrender.
You are also intelligent. Yes. Yes. And I did that for 30 years. I did that for 30 years. You are a little more mature than I was when I became a devotee. And you can see these things because you have intelligence. I was really insecure as a young girl, and I couldn't see these things. I became a blind follower. But I became a workaholic when I was 8 years old because I wanted my mother to love me. And so I went to a special school, and they gave us so much homework. But I just pushed myself to be better and to be good. And so I became a workaholic when I was young. Now that has served me well. That was one of these parts, the proving part. And so when I became a devotee, I could work really hard. When I came to New Vrindavan, I could work really hard. But again, like you said, when things didn't work out and I felt like I wasn't good enough or Krishna conscious enough, what do you think I did when I was stressed?
Did more what you were doing.
Worked more. So you're stressed, and then you work more. And then you're more stressed, and then you work more. And when you're young, you can kind of push yourself for a while until you're like, what am I doing? Like, and then you just maybe go away or evaporate or stop, or maybe you realize maybe less is more. Maybe more isn't really more. Maybe less is more. So, yeah, and these are our automatic protective mechanisms working hard protected me from being less than. It protected me from being yelled at by my mother. It protected me, and it helped me to produce results and get a lot of appreciation and pats on the back. But those pats couldn't touch this part of me because this part of me and this part of me were really strong, and I really didn't believe I was lovable. I didn't believe I was good. There was a big hole inside of me. And so even if I got appreciation, it went down the drain. And then I would get more and more, but it would keep going down the drain because I didn't know how to hold it, because I didn't really believe that I deserved it. So, yeah, it's just helpful to start looking at these things and being curious about these things and, thinking deeply, who am I really? And recently, there was an actor in America who had a disease, and he was dying, and as he was getting ready to leave, he said, well, I used to think I was an actor, and then I became a husband. I thought I was a husband, then I thought I was a father, and then I thought I was this. But now here I am, dying. Like, who am I? And I think he came to the conclusion that, I'm a part of God, and God loves me, and I'm not these other parts. And actually, not everybody can come to that conclusion when they're on their deathbed. And if we practice throughout our life to little by little let go of these parts, like, okay, I don't have to be perfect. All right, if I'm working really hard and I'm stressed, maybe I need to take a nap, So if we can be a little more organic and take one step at a time rather than trying to get all the mercy really, 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 really fast. And in fact, some of the most incredible, helpful mercy and blessings that I got were things I would not have chosen, were things that were quite uncomfortable, but things that shook me awake. Wake up, Sukhvaha. You're missing the point. So Yeah. When we ask for mercy and blessings, and we can accept what comes as an answer to our prayers, we can learn a lot. But if we push away those blessings, saying, oh, they're so mean, they don't understand, this isn't fair, and then we push away those blessings, then we don't get them. Because we don't think they're blessings, so we push them away, but then we miss what's inside. Any other thoughts or corrections or comments? Or
What are the different ways Srila Prabhupada dealt with the shame?
Nice.
he encouraged us.
Like some examples.
When devotees came to him with different difficulties, he could really understand and be there. One of his servants, Shrutakirti Prabhu, he really liked to serve Prabhupada and be with Prabhupada. And Prabhupada really liked his massages, and he liked how he wasn't like all over him, like that he was there when he was needed, but he wasn't like, can I help you? Do you need anything? Do you need anything? He was just there. And when Shrutakirti, Prabhupada was going to go to another place, and he wanted Shrutakirti to come with him. Shrutakirti wanted to come with him, but he spoke to him honestly, said, I can't handle India, it's too much for me, and I think I need to get married. And Prabhupada gave him a ring, I think, for his own wedding. And it's like a father. And he understood all the aspects of life because he had been a householder. It's very mature.
So it's like to be in others' shoes.
Yes, but when we're in our own shoes, because we all have similar systems, they may have a little different variation in the voice, but we all have these. When we can be with our own stuff, then we can sit with another and like, oh yeah, I used to get angry like that. Yeah, I was a blind father. I was unhealthily detached. Oh yeah, I did that. I did that. I did that. I did that. I can be with another person. I don't have to judge them because I know it's part of the process of growing. Just like when somebody who's in college, they can say, oh, I remember when I used to not be able to talk. You look at yourself when you're 2 and you're just saying half words or half sentences. I remember when I used to do that. Yeah, I remember when I couldn't add. I remember it took me till 3rd grade to learn how to read. I remember I couldn't do that or I didn't do that. I remember when I was a teenager and how confusing and hard it was. We can know that we've had all those parts and not judge another person. Oh, look, I'm so much better than you. Look at you. It's like, why do I have to say that? What's the purpose? Unless I actually feel really insecure, I would have no need to say that. But if I've looked at and been with all these parts inside of my own self and had a little empathy. There's 3 things that keep shame alive. Secrecy, hiding all of these parts. Silence, shh, we're not talking about that. Nope, we're just going to talk about this out here. We're not going to talk about any of this. And judgment. Oh my gosh, I can't believe you did that. Shh. Those 3 things feed shame, and they keep it alive. And there's one thing, the antidote to shame. Does anybody know the antidote to shame? You can't say it. The antidote to shame. Do you have an idea? Encouragement in a specific way. Not just flattery. Oh, you're such a good devotee. Not just flattery, not just encouragement. I'm sorry? Love in a certain form. We want to get a little bit more of a specific word. Acceptance is part of it also. All these are part of one other big word that we're going to learn here.
So could it be opening up to a person and sharing it with somebody whom we can have full trust on?
yes, we can. That's an important part for us to deal with our own shame. Opening up to a person that we can trust. Yes, and what would that person provide for us? What is the antidote to shame?
Courage.
Empathy.
That's the word. Empathy. And we need courage to open up. But it's empathy. And empathy means, I get it. Yeah, that's really hard. Yeah, it's a really tough thing to go through. Yeah, no judgment. Empathy is no judgment. Empathy is love. Empathy is kindness. Empathy is encouragement. Empathy is understanding. Empathy is, yeah, wow, it just feels excruciating sometimes, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. Validating a person's experience where they are in that moment makes them feel like, oh, okay, here I am. I'm not just a rotten piece of garbage on the street. This is part of the process, going through this struggle. There's a story about a butterfly that was trying to come out of the cocoon. You might have heard this story. And the butterfly is like pushing its way out of the cocoon and just shaking and pushing. And this person says, oh my gosh, that butterfly's struggling so much. Poor butterfly, let me cut open the cocoon and let him fly. Come on already, get out of there. So he cut the cocoon, and the butterfly kind of walked out, but he couldn't fly. Do you know why?
The strength that didn't develop in the wings.
Yes. That struggle was a part of the process where the juices were pushed out to the tips of the wing. So when it came out of the cocoon, all of those fluids that were necessary were pushed out. So sometimes we want to avoid pain and struggle. We want to avoid all these. No, I don't want any of those special mercies. I want the good mercies, right? But those special mercies, those special mercies take us to a place inside of ourselves where we wouldn't normally go if everything was great out here. If everything was great out here, we wouldn't become Krishna conscious. We wouldn't even come to the temple because, hey, it's fine. But why do we come to the temple? Because we're suffering. But then we come to Krishna consciousness. Okay, I'm good now. I'm not suffering anymore. But there are layers of inside suffering that we haven't really looked at and spent the time to sit with and be with. And we all have them. And I think a lot of you might resonate with some of the things I've said here. Empathy is such an important aspect. And if our communities can develop kindness, empathy, a place where you can speak, and I'm not telling anybody. You can tell me whatever you need to. I'm not sharing this with anybody because this is a safe space where I can hold your pain and understand it's a hard struggle. And maybe I may not even have that same struggle, and I may not know exactly how hard it is, but I've struggled with other things, and I know how hard it is to struggle. And I might even say, wow, I can't even imagine how hard that is. I've never been through that, and I can't even imagine. I mean, I've been through something half of that, and I know how hard it was for me. I can't even imagine how hard that is for you. Wow, is that so validating for that person going through that pain, even if we can't exactly fully understand. And it's almost best not to say, I understand, I understand, I understand, because that's not real validation. The person may say, you have no idea what this feels like. You really don't know how this feels like. And we don't, because we're not in that person's body. They may be super sensitive, so for me, I might think, well, it's not so bad, I could do that. But that person can't, for whatever reason. So not to say I understand, but to really get their experience and how hard it is for them. I don't know how long I'm supposed to talk or how long this is supposed to go on. I'm willing to stay here for as long as you want me to stay here, but I don't want to overstep my time because I know you all have important things to do sometimes, but it's Saturday night, so maybe you don't have so many important things to do. Any other thoughts or questions?
So the last layer which we are talking about.
This one here?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So if I have understood it correctly, it's about doing the things, the quality should be improved instead of the quantity. And then we can come to the satisfaction of the soul which soul is looking for. Is that true?
It is about quality, not quantity. And it's about the internal, not the external. Prabhupada said, better one moon than a million stars. So the moon has a lot of quality. This version here is really concerned about how I'm looking, what are people thinking about me, do I look good, am I doing the right things, am I doing them the right amount, oh, somebody's doing more, maybe I need to do more, comparing, achieving, endeavoring, wanting to be validated, look at me. But if you think about it, the really great devotees, Gorkishore Das Babaji, he was like, I'm sitting by a latrine here. I don't want people to bother me unless they're really interested. I don't want people to come, bless Baba, Baba, bless me, bless me, bless me. It's like, oh, please, leave me alone. But if you really are interested, I'm sitting by the latrine. And if you can handle the smell of the latrine, I'm happy to talk to you because it shows you're serious. One time a certain person was going after Prabhupada. Bless me, bless me, bless me, bless me, right? Bless me, bless me. And then after a while, and finally he said again, bless me, Prabhupada said. And this is a man who was affluent and he had a family, and he said, I bless you to become a sannyasi. The guy freaked out because that's not what kind of blessings we're looking for. So, and if we pray to Krishna for mercy and blessings and humility and all that, we might get a lot of tests. But then we get angry at other people. How could they say that? How could they treat me like that? Well, excuse me, you asked for humility. I'm just giving you a little humiliation here. How are you going to get humility if you don't get a little humiliation? But maybe you weren't ready for that. So we ask for these things like, just inject me with humility, okay? Just inject me with patience. Come on, Krishna, you can do it. Why doesn't he do that? Because when things are given to us too easily, what happens? We take them for granted. We don't value them. When we work for them, when we, not like extra work, but when we struggle, when we question, when we reflect, when we pray, when we get on our hands and knees and like, oh my gosh, this is so hard, help me, Krishna. Then we really value when something happens. It's like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. Oh, wow. I didn't expect that. Wow, thank you. But when we have an expectation or like, come on, I've 27, 30 years, come on, I should have it by now. What's taking you so long? It's our attitude, it's our mood, it's our consciousness that matters, not how much we got on the outside. Yeah.
You say that, Srila Prabhupada says that what comes easy is easy.
Oh yeah. What comes easily is easy to forget. What comes with difficulty is difficult to forget. So if you think about your life and the difficult things that you went through, you know that you got something really, a valuable lesson in that. Yeah, that's my favorite saying. Go ahead, Prabhu.
Mataji, how to remind ourselves with that real identity? Because even after becoming a devotee, we wear a different layer.
We do.
It also creates a kind of ego.
Yes.
Outside world, maybe.
Yeah.
So, like in practical world, all 24 hours, we are living in that consciousness of
Yes.
layer,
Yes.
external
Yes.
identity.
Yes.
We are dealing with that.
Yes.
So, even after, practice or being unknowingly for a long time,
Uh-huh.
as a devotee or in Krishna Krishna consciousness. We generally forget and we behave with external layers. So how to remind ourselves with that real event?
Well, I think Krishna gives us reminders regularly, but we might push them away, or we might blame a person, like, why are you pointing that out at me, or how dare you say that about me? Can you believe he said that? Look at all these little tiny little reminders that come our way, and we just whatever, and we ignore them, we push them away. When we get angry, oh, a devotee shouldn't get angry. Let me push that down. Otherwise, we could just be curious. Why am I so angry? What was that about? What's going on inside of me? Why am I so angry? What's that about? So when we're curious, when the little tiny little things happen during the day with our spouses, with our kids, at the temple, those little irritating things, they could be giving big messages if we're willing to take them. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says, when faults in others, when you see, how does he say it? When faults in others disturb you, delude you, look inside, reflect, introspect, find what's going on inside of you. What are your faults, or what are your misconceptions? What's going on inside of you? Look inside. As he said, reflect, introspect, look inside. No one can harm you unless you harm yourself. No one created all this except for us. We created this. I mean, the material energy inspired us to create this, but we created this. And if we understand that we created this, we made all this up. We made this up. Well, that's good news, because that means we can change the story. We don't have to believe it. We don't have to believe it. We can change the story, and we can start practicing deeper and new things. And it takes practice. I mean, I only started the introspective process in 2001, after almost 30 years of Krishna consciousness. I got a late start. But there's never any loss or diminution on the path. Krishna will help us when we start being curious and asking him, what do you want to show me? What do I need to see? What's next? What is there for me to do? What do you want me to do here? What do I do now? But a lot of times we're not asking that question. We're just up here trying to figure it out, and we figure it out, and we put more stuff on. And usually what we figure out is what we've done before, because that's the autopilot, that's the repetitive autopilot protective mechanisms we've designed, and we know that they've worked in the past, so we just keep doing them. And the definition of insanity is to keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over to reinforce all these personas and expecting to get the result that I'm going to get out of this world. That's insanity. Prabhupada said we're all more or less crazy, a little bit. You have a question? Go ahead.
So Mataji, sometimes these layers may be so thick, and it's just like easier to just keep the front now than to do all the work to go back. So I have a few questions. One is like, how do you become introspective? And the second question is...
I'll answer one at a time.
Yes.
You can wait as long as you want. And you can wait until the time of your death. At the time of death, have you ever heard that your life passes in front of you? Well, at the time of death, it's like, oh my gosh, I should have, I wish I would have, why didn't I? Oh my gosh, well, gone. Well, guess what? Your life is passing in front of you right now. And it's passing in front of you slow enough that you can do something about it. Die before you die. Each day we can die to something. Do I have to retaliate? Do I have to blame that person? Do I have to prove that I'm right? Do I have to look good? Do I have to prove myself? Do I have to defend myself? And we can ask those questions, and every time, just one little time, we would just, okay, I'm not going to defend myself. All right. Well, you have a perspective that I've never thought of before. That's really different from the way I think. That's an interesting perspective. I'll have to think about that for a while. Just saying that, you could have a whole different experience with a person than if you did the defense and the back and forth for, and that takes a lot of time, arguing. So it may seem like it takes a lot of time. In the long run, it saves a lot of time, because when you invest in yourself now, you start to become more joyful because you're getting closer to the truth. So you have short-term benefits, and because you practice dying before you die, you've invested in that process of dying before you die, of constant practice and detachment. You're practicing detachment day by day by day, a little bit. Okay, I don't think I have to do that right now. Let me just pause and reflect and be attentive and listen. Ask Krishna what he wants me to do. When we do that, constant practice and detachment, we're practicing detachment. And then when we get to the end of our life, we're like, okay, yeah, I've been practicing for this final exam here. I don't know if I'm ready, Krishna, but I do know how to pray to you. And I do know how to get down on my knees. And I do trust you because you've helped me throughout this life. And please don't let me forget you. And we can say that with our whole heart. So, investing in things is a good thing. Delaying the process is like, oh, God, I missed that investment. Should have invested earlier, right? When it was a small company, now like the stocks are worth $1 million, right? So, and you get short-term investments and long-term investments. Who wouldn't invest in something like that, right? If you got investments now, some investments you have to wait, right? And some might be short-term, but then you got to like keep selling and buying and running around. What if you invested in something that had short-term benefits and long-term? It's worth it. It's really worth it. And it may seem like it takes a lot of time, but that's only because we're denying how heavy and how much these apps running in the background are draining our battery and draining our energy and draining our consciousness. We haven't become aware of the cost of these yet. We're still in denial that it's not such a big deal. I can wait. What's the point? We have to get present to the cost. It's costing us relationships. It cost me my relationships with my kids. Luckily, in 2001, I was able to reconnect, and we really resolved our issues. Thank you, Krishna. It's never too late. However, the sooner we work on it, the more joyful we can become. So anyway, and the second question?
So Mataji, when we're when you're in a community or in a temple,
Oh yeah.
there's always a challenge to balance the internal and external,
Yes.
the external demands
Yes.
or requirements or
Yes.
needs of the situation.
Yes.
And then we have our own internal work and the quality that you
Yes.
were mentioning.
Yes.
So I think that as a society we still I don't think we still value the quality so much. It's always like meet of the hour, get it done, double it, do this, do that.
Marathon, 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 marathon. I did 30 years of marathons. My son was like, I don't want to hear that word. It was marathon after marathon after marathon. There was another marathon, then there's this marathon, there's a brick marathon, then there's a this marathon. What's the point? We're so busy we don't have time to reflect. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to say that even an institution has these different parts. We have them individually, and even an institution has these different parts. Oh, ISKCON is the best, and we're the best, and look at us. And so, as individuals, because individuals make up the institution, as we value ourselves and take time for ourselves, I'm not going to be able to do that. I'm sorry, Prabhu. But it's the need of the hour. It's like, I had a sign on my door in New Vrindavan. Your lack of preparation does not constitute an emergency on my part. And our planning is, especially in India, the planning is, we can just always get manpower because there's so many people, right? You just get manpower, you grab them from here, you grab them from here, but there's no real plan. It's just like, hey Prabhu, I need you. And then the people who say yes, oh my gosh, they get called the most. Because I know they're going to say yes, right? Right? So can we take responsibility? Well, I keep saying yes, that's why they keep calling me. If I started saying no, I can't, no, maybe the phone calls would be less. And I wouldn't have to feel so much pressure and shame that, oh my God, I'm saying no. But you're not saying no to Krishna. You're not saying no to Krishna, because sometimes that stigma is there that this is for Krishna, this is for your guru, Prabhu. It's like, you don't care about your guru? It's like, I'm just not going to be able to do that. I'm sorry. That takes strength and courage and commitment to the deeper process, not to feeding the system.
But so sometimes
Hardik had a question too.
No, I was just adding to what Roji was saying.
Go
We are
ahead.
generally trained and taught to be a yes man.
Uh-huh.
and also we think if we don't do, we'll be deprived of the mercy.
Yes, we are always constantly living in a FOMO, and these fake emergencies or it's like
Fake
they are sort of created and imposed.
They are.
And the thing like you were saying that we have a lot of time. What is told to us and what we hear is that if this is the only life you've got, and if you don't get it in this lifetime,
This is not the only life you've got. That's like Christianity.
no,
It really is. If you don't get it together in this life, you're going to go to hell. You're not going to get the right guru. You're going to get blah, da, da, da. Who knows what you're going to become. You got to do it in this lifetime. We're eternal. Sorry.
yes. So one theory that comes up is Prabhupada, we hear that Prabhupada said 70% of my disciples will go to heaven. So if you're not able to go back to Godhead, we'll land up somewhere in the heavens.
Mm-hmm.
The heaven is 10,000 years. Once we come back, the golden age will pass away.
God, who made that one up? That's such a story. What a story, isn't it? So, can we slow down and take our time so we're not so busy out here doing pious, good activities that we go to the heavenly planets? This is the heavenly planets. Pious activities. We want to deepen our Krishna consciousness. Oh, ouch. It's hard to be a kid.
Mike, can I say something if it's okay?
You may say something, but was that okay what I said, Hardik?
If you can elaborate a little bit more.
I'm sorry?
If you can elaborate more on this.
Elaborate more. Okay, elaborate more. Yeah, this is about pious activities. It's about doing good things. You know, if you do this, you're going to get this many credits. If you do this many ekadasis, you get this many credits, right? Isn't that karma kanda? I think it is. I'm not sure because I'm not really a Sanskrit scholar, but isn't that karma kanda? So we're trying to be akarmic, right? We're trying to not be attached. So if we're attached to looking good and like feeling that, you know, we're a good devotee, that's an attachment. That attachment has consequences. There's costs to it. So, there's nothing wrong with being a good devotee. There's nothing wrong with working hard. There's nothing wrong. That may not get you deep bhakti. But you don't have to worry because Krishna's not going to cheat you. He's not going to cheat you. We only have to be conscious, what is my desire? What am I desiring? What do I want? What do I want? Can I be honest? What do I want? What do I really want? Because what I want is what Krishna will give me. And if I really want it, and I really want the real mercy, the mercy that gets me to my knees, then when it comes, I'll accept it and be grateful for it rather than pushing it away. So our further actions manifest where we are in our consciousness. And Krishna sees our consciousness, which is in our heart. He doesn't see our external activities. He sees how are we behaving, how are we treating our family, how are we treating ourselves, how are we treating the other devotees. That's what Krishna sees. He doesn't see the quantity, he sees the quality. Is that enough elaboration?
But Krishna will also see that we are also trying to serve others. We are trying to engage whatever energy, effort, time we have in spreading Krishna consciousness or in preaching.
Why are we trying to serve other devotees?
Because
is it materially motivated, somehow kind of mixed in there with a little bit of like, I want a little bit of, wow, you're such a good devotee. Do I want a little of that?
Maybe that is one reason, but it is also inspired by the fact that Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that those who are preaching are the most dear to me, and by doing this...
What is preaching? Now we've determined now that preaching is making more devotees, but preaching is consciousness. Prabhupada came with nothing. No money, no power, no status, no influence. Nothing. Nothing. He depended on Krishna. And he didn't have a plan of what it was going to look like. He went and he just tried this, and then he tried this, and then he tried this, and then he tried this. And Krishna showed him, and Krishna helped him. And Prabhupada prayed. And the devotee said, what are you praying in front of the deities, Prabhupada? I'm praying to be protected from Maya. But Prabhupada, you're a pure devotee. Why are you praying to be protected from Maya? Well, I have a healthy fear of the material energy, and you don't. The material energy is powerful, and she slips in the back door. So it behooves us to be a little conscious, what are my motives? Why do I want to do that? And what is preaching? Preaching is reaching. Preaching is encouraging. Preaching is a lot of things. Preaching isn't just, I made a devotee and now they're chanting this many rounds and now they're getting initiated. That's not necessarily just preaching. That could be just getting more manpower. Who's taking care of the devotees that are already here and involved? Who's supporting those who have been around a long time? And when a devotee after 20, 30 years, like myself after 30 years, when I had a real breakdown, who was there to help me? You're in Maya. Oh, really? No kidding. I know I'm in Maya. Tell me something that's going to help me through this rough period here. I've been doing all the right things. They couldn't tell me. Just chant more. I am chanting. It's not working. We need people who are able to help people in those situations when you hit that wall. Who's going to be there? If you're married and you have kids, do you keep having kids every year and more kids and more kids? Who's going to support them financially? How are you going to take care of them? Feed them, clothe them, and emotionally take care of them? You're not going to be able to. Why did Prabhupada say in 1972, we have enough men now? I think we have enough men now. Why did he say that? And I'm afraid if we expand too much, too fast, we're going to lose it. We're going to water down the philosophy and the process. Why did he say that in 1972? Boil the milk. Why did he say that? I'm not saying anything anybody's doing is wrong. But there's not just one way to do it, and we seem to have a machine that thinks that it's a manufacturing machine, and there's one way to do it, and this is what a devotee looks like, and that's all there is to it. And after 30 years, when I discovered that wasn't all there was to it, it was kind of pretty disheartening for me. I wanted to kill myself. I'm not kidding. I was angry at Krishna. Wait a minute. What? I should be a pure devotee by now. I did it all right. So I'm here to tell you that this only takes you so far. There's a lot more. And you don't have to wait until you have a complete breakdown to start that process. That's what I'm saying. So preaching is a lot of things. Preaching is sweeping the floor. Preaching is cooking. Preaching is being kind to others. Just being kind, even to people who don't want to be devotees. Preaching is not preaching to those who don't want to be preached to. That's preaching. Is that okay? Was that okay? I want to see if there's any other persons, any other ladies or anybody who... I'm sorry, I get a little heavy and a little feisty sometimes, don't I? It's one of these guys here. I mean, not that you don't have to believe what I'm saying. I'm just, sometimes I talk a little louder, and it was wired in me when I was young. I've tried to use it for Krishna. Oh, I'm sorry, I couldn't see you. The screen was like, thank you.
I just had a question. When you mentioned multiple times about how we should be asking Krishna a lot of times, what is it that we're supposed to do in any situation, or what is it that Krishna wants us to do, or even just like in general situations, trying to have that mindset that what is it that the situation is trying to teach me.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing that I've struggled with is just that if I just introspect on it, the conclusion that I come to, how do I know that that's the conclusion that I'm meant to come to? Like, it could just be something that I'm thinking of based on my, fallible ways of thinking, all the biases that I'm prone to. So how do you, having that mindset is one thing, but then how do you really make sure that you are coming to the realization that you're meant to come to? Like, how can you ever know that, this is what I was meant to come to?
Well, we just try something, and we see if it works. And if it works, we do it more. And if it doesn't, we stop. That's what Prabhupada did. He said, let's try this. Okay, we'll try this. And then they had this mantra rock thing, and they did it once, and Prabhupada said, let's not do that again. So you just try things. And you'll generally, if you hear a repetitive voice inside of yourself, especially one that repeats the scripture that other people have repeated to you a lot of times, that may just be a repeated loop in the brain. But if you hear something like, oh, okay, let me just try that. Something kind of like that you didn't think of before. And a lot of times the first thought you have is more intuitive, more closer to that. Just try it. See how it works out. If it doesn't work, don't do it again. If it works, okay, let me do this more. And then if it works up to a certain point, and then you realize, okay, this has taken me this far, but it can't take me further. I need to drop this and try something else. Take one step at a time. There is no, the whole map. We go to the astrologer, tell me everything about my whole life. Tell me what to do for my whole life. I want to know it all. Tell me the exact, okay, this time and this time, okay, I'm planning for it. You know that Krishna is the all-knower, right? Guess what? Krishna loves not knowing. He loves it. He loves the intrigue. Oh my gosh, Jatila's coming. What am I going to do? Oh my gosh. Radharani is mad at me again. What am I going to do? He loves it. It's fun. It's an adventure. And why can he do the same kind of dances he dances over and over and over again, how is he Navayovanam? Tell me, how is he Navayovanam if he does the same pastimes over and over again? How is he Navayovanam? Does anybody know? Go ahead. I think you might know. Go ahead, but go ahead.
I mean, he's experiencing newer and newer things, right? And
Something like that, but you said something before being present. He's in the present. He doesn't remember what he did the day before.
Because no influence of time. Time.
Yes, he is not remembering. He's not remembering the past. He's just in the present moment. Just like little kids, they play the same game over and over and over and over, and every day they have fun because it's not exactly the same game. Okay, this time you be that, and I'm going to be that. Oh, let's make this up here, and let's do this over here. Oh, let's go over here. Let's try it over here. It's not the same game, even if it's the same game. So they don't remember what they did. They're creating it brand new.
So you see, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who's Kal himself, is not remembering what he did yesterday.
Yeah,
Okay.
on purpose.
He's playful.
I'm sorry?
He's playful.
He's playful. He's having fun. He's enjoying creating. And we're co-creators. He's given us that tiny part of creating, and this is what we create. More stuff to deal with. Go ahead.
Mataji, the question that if we don't cover ourselves with this last bottle, that last image, then there is a fear of isolation also. Then you go deep. When you go deeper into your inner self, you don't interact much with the.
That's not necessarily true. That's not necessarily true. You can still interact, but you would be interacting on a different level. You would be interacting on a different level. You just wouldn't be in the give and the take of this is what I should do, this is what they want me to do. It might be a different kind of an interaction. So, you see, these are all stories we tell ourselves, right? And this is like, now I have the absolute truth, so now I'm really good. I got the absolute truth, right? So we try to stick the absolute truth on top of all these lies. But you can't stick the truth on top of a lie. So there's nothing wrong with practicing and doing devotional service. And I'm not saying to just sit at home and reflect. It's not going to happen. We reflect on our interactions. We have interactions. And then we reflect, wow, why was I so irritated with that person? I wonder what that is. I wonder what's going on inside of me. And then we interact, and then maybe we adjust, and then we say, oh, okay, that was, why did that person, what did I make that mean? So we're interacting and reflecting, and interacting and reflecting. And in the process of using the events of our life as our spiritual journey, every part of our life becomes part of our spiritual journey, even our work and our work colleagues. Okay, they're saying this, and now they're telling a story about me. How do I feel about that? What do I do about that? It's all, Krishna's there in everybody. He's there in everything, and he's trying to help us. So all of our interactions are part of our reflective process, and they give us little hints. You keep saying that same thing. What's going on with you? What is going on with me? Why do you keep working so hard? Could you stop? I had trouble stopping. People would tell me at the Barsana camp, oh my gosh, you work so hard, that's so great. I'm like, no, it's not great. If I could sit and relax, that would be great. Working hard, I learned when I was 8. That's not hard. Sitting, relaxing, being with other people, listening to people. When I learn that, that's going to be something. When I can just sit with myself and be patient and not distract myself, that would be great. So it's an ongoing process, and we just discover what we discover, as we discover it. So we're not just sitting and reflecting. It's both.
Mataji, can you please elaborate on the fact that we cannot place the absolute truth over lies?
I think that's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, but still, with an example.
Okay, when you go to paint a house or put new tiles on the floor, you need to clean all the dirt off. Otherwise, the new tiles won't stick nicely and they might be uneven. You got to clean the place first before you can put something new on it. So you can't stick the absolute truth on top of the quote-unquote dirt of the lies.
So what we are doing is superficially or artificially accepting things?
I'm not saying that's what everybody's doing. We do that to a certain extent. And, it's not that our attempts are wrong. It's just not everything. So the first attempt, if we never knew how to lay a floor before, we might say, oh, that's good enough, and stick down the tiles, and then 5 years later the tiles are coming up, well, I probably should have cleaned it a little bit better. We'll learn, we'll get it, but if we have somebody who's expert and says, you really need to clean the floor really good, you scrape it, you sweep it, you dust it, you wash it, you scrape it again, cleaning the Gundicha temple, right? So, you'll learn, even if you don't clean it really good, you'll learn, okay, I think I gotta go back and clean a little more. You paint over dirt, and then you see the little bumps. Oh, I think I missed some dirt there. Oh, please. And then, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't,
Let him ask and
I'm sorry. No, you go first. You're out of my purview. Thank you for showing, because I'm sorry, I need to sit back a little more. Go ahead.
The girl has taken that question of reflection.
Go ahead.
Is that not the role of Guru in that case being used?
Is that not the role of,
Guru
Uh-huh.
being used for getting the validation of reflection?
well, we can use other people's reflections to help us.
No, I'm not saying using your reflection. I'm saying if I have a reflection, like you said, we need to introspect. Then we
Oh.
do the introspection.
And then you ask, and then you confirm it with your guru?
Yeah, the question she probably asked, and I'm just trying to be more clearer on
Uh-huh,
that, is
uh-huh.
we need to do the introspection ourselves, and you said use it, and you may change if it doesn't work for you. But is it not the role of a guru to take the help and get that road correct?
You may be able to do that. It depends on if you have a personal relationship with your guru, how many disciples the guru has, what your relationship is with the guru. Can you talk to him and get verification for every little thing in your life, or do you go just for the big things? Yeah. So.
Especially the big things.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that you don't do that. But I was talking about on an everyday basis, really on an everyday basis, really looking, what should I do now, what should I do now, what should I do? But if it's a big major decision.
Yeah, like you said, for post 30 years, you realized that.
Yeah.
And you asked few people and they said, more chant more.
They weren't helping me.
Isn't that?
Yeah.
So I thought that's where possibly Guru is going to help.
Yeah, well, that was, those were my mentors. They weren't helping me at that point. And so we do need to also validate our own intelligence. Prabhupada wanted us to be independently thoughtful. He did say that he wanted us to be independently thoughtful. Krishna is in our heart. He is in our heart. So we take some help from maybe someone that we really trust. However, if we take that help and we find that it doesn't work, our intelligence might say, that's not working, I can't do that anymore. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You want to do both, because I didn't do any reflecting. I just was a blind follower, and I did what I was told, and I did what I was told, and I did what I was told, and I was like, wait a minute, I didn't come to Krishna consciousness to become this and a that and a liar and just collect money, and that's not why I came to Krishna consciousness. And so I started to more reflect more deeply, what am I here? What do you want from me, Krishna? So, yeah, you need to do a little bit of the individual work. We need to learn how to fly our own airplane. The guru's not going to fly your plane when you're on your deathbed necessarily. That makes sense?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Sometimes it is said that, fake it till you make it.
I know, I hate that saying. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say I hate it. I don't necessarily hate it, but we might end up being a pretender if we keep faking it. I would rather say, practice until you make it. Practice. Practice. Exercise your muscles. Stretch a little bit. Practice. But just because it rhymes, fake it till you make it, doesn't mean that, that it's the most appropriate little poetic verse to say. Try it, practice it, but the word fake indicates that we're allowed to fake and we're allowed to pretend, and then we might get really addicted to pretending because pretending gets some instant good results, and then we might get addicted and keep pretending and not even know we're pretending anymore because we've been doing it so long we think this is normal. Does that make sense? Yeah. I'm going to choose our words carefully and also continue to reassess ourselves. Like the greatest devotees continue to pray for help from Krishna. And they don't say, I have Krishna, I'm pure, I know where Krishna is. They're saying, where are you now, Krishna? Where are you now? I feel so tiny and insignificant. I can't see you. Where are you? Why are they saying that? Because they're not faking it. They're still asking, they're still looking, they're still searching deeper and deeper and deeper, and they're fine-tuning their consciousness more and deeper. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
So one last question.
Okay, because
Anything?
we gotta like honor everybody's time. What time is it anyway?
7:30.
Okay, 7:30.
7:40.
And what time do we start?
6.
6. Okay. I'll be here after the class too if anybody has specific questions. I have a couple copies of my books too, but I don't know where they are. Oh, okay. Thank you.
So we are very, very grateful to Mataji.
Yes,
For-
use the microphone.
For literally showing us
I know, I like this. It's really cool.
how many layers of pretension are there. Mataji used the word shame. So
Shame, yeah.
Yes.
It's a big word. If we
Big
can,
word,
that's
yes.
enough.
So there's so much to reflect on, and I'm really happy that you asked so many nice questions.
Yes.
Very introspective questions, and this is a wonderful journey that Mataji is encouraging us to go on. And as Mataji said, that there is immediate benefit and long-term benefit. And I feel that whenever those moments where I am genuinely honest and reflective, those are the best moments. You know, but as Mataji said also, that just like the butterfly, that example she gave, that it is painful, but it's good pain.
It's part of the process.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the more we can embrace it, and the more we can support each other to do that as as a family.
Yes, a family.
So the more we will mature, and the better devotee we can be here.
Yes.
Very
Simple.
Small
Simple.
is beautiful.
Yes. Small is all.
Yes.
Thank you. I love
But
that.
it's a big one to swallow for our big egos.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
So we ask Mataji for her blessings so that we can practice this, as Mataji said, practice, practice, practice.
Yes, yes.
And she has some wonderful books. If you don't have these copies, I really encourage you to get them and gift them to devotees.
Or read
that
them
you know.
yourself.
Yes.
Better that you read them yourselves because you get them from them.
Those who have it, they
Okay.
can buy it.
Okay. I don't have many copies left.
Yeah, so priority goes to those who don't have these books.
Yes,
So
yes, yes.
please feel free to get them and get them signed by Mataji.
Yeah.
So let us express our deepest gratitude to Mataji for giving us a valuable time. She said that this may be her last trip to India. So
You mean in 2026 or?
I'm leaving tomorrow. This will probably be my last trip to India.
so it's
It's a chapter of my life that is probably ending because I need to go deeper and take care of myself and work from home and do my Zoom calls. And yeah, traveling is quite challenging.
Mataji is on a mission to unload, as she was saying.
yes,
We are fortunate. We got you just in.
yes. This is a memorable, this session for us. And but Mataji does sessions on the phone. Sorry, on online.
Reading
And-
classes.
Yes, reading classes. So we have that opportunity to join. So thank you again very much, Mataji. And
Thank
let
you.
us, let us chant the Maha Mantra to express our deep gratitude to her. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
And I want to say it was really a lot of fun to be with all of you. And you asked such really pertinent and really nice questions. And it was fun. And I really like, to get into these specific details. I feel like this is true sadhusanga when we talk about these deeper topics. So it was so fun. So thank you for all your participation. And my obeisances to all of you. Vansha kalpa chibhyascha, kripa sindhibhyevacha, patita nam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Hari Bol, thank you. Hari